Ahsoka Season 2 is still underway and still shooting.
This is where the fun begins.
We saw what Hayden Christensen was up to, and I'm really glad that he is so involved with Ahsoka Season 2 because I think he's gonna definitely push the series in a bigger scale. He is shooting, by the way, 5-6 months in a row, so this will be amazing to see. We're gonna talk about Hayden Christensen later on. Today we're talking about concept art that has been leaked or released. By this point, we don't really know because these companies are, I think they're secretly participating in leaking to the press or to individuals. So we have Shin Hati concept art, and it's pretty insane. So first of all, I want to tell you that this is kind of Balin-ish, Clone Wars-ish armor. Now, inspired by some of the High Republic concept art that they had now officially finally scrapped. No more High Republic era, but this remains. This is of course done purposely. The High Republic era is an age where the Jedi really did wear armor like this in order to protect themselves from Force predators that in those books in the High Republic era were called the Nameless. So what is this concept art really showing us? I mean, we could really have on Peridia, so far we don't know anything except that Baylan Skoll is essentially going for a sanctuary that holds one of the Celestials, hopefully the Mother, because all the other ones have been kind of killed or broken. So at this point we have the Mother, which Baylan Skoll could release and collaborate with to go to the main galaxy. This all could be part of the plan. Don't forget that Ahsoka Tano is also there as well. So Anakin and Ahsoka might fight on Peridia, and by the end of the season, Ahsoka could come back to the main galaxy and join Luke Skywalker as a bridger on the main goal of defeating Thrawn and the Imperial Remnant. But this other hooded thing, this cape, looks completely different. So this is very intriguing as well. It looks like something Death Omirian for sure, something witchy, which I'm not suggesting it would, but this establishment where she is looks like the inside of a Star Destroyer, looks like an Imperial thing. It could be just concept art, but it could be that we may have something on Peridia that still remains from the Empire. All in all, this concept art really shows us that there are things that are happening on Peridia that we haven't really seen anywhere in Star Wars. This is very exciting. This is definitely for sure something that's going to be enticing and interesting. You got to ask yourself, all the fans out there, we're going to have a battle of attention. We're going to have the main galaxy where Ezra Bridger, Hera Syndulla, and I'm hoping they involved Luke Skywalker, but you know, that's gonna happen, that battle with Thrawn, and then you're gonna have Peridia between Baylan Skoll, Ahsoka, Anakin, and the Mother. I'm thinking this is a clear win for Peridia, for the Peridia situation. Because I see these two conflicts going parallel to each other. We're just going to cut from one conflict to another. Perhaps episodes will vary between places. Episode 1 could be in Peridia, episode 2 could be back with Thrawn and Ezra Bridger, and back and forth until the finale, where I'm hoping Ahsoka by the end of season 2 will come back to the main galaxy somehow, some way. Now, of course, as I said, I'm really excited and proud to see Hayden Christensen back, not only as a cameo, not only as a small role, but a bigger role because he's been shooting for months. This is what we have on him. And I think because of this gigantic shooting schedule, I think that he's playing two different versions. No longer will we go to the world between worlds. I don't think we're gonna visit it in season 2. We were done with it in season 1. This time Hayden is gonna play Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost, helping Ahsoka through the journey. We all know that Baylan is going for the Mother of the Mortis Gods. That's what's rumored, of course, anyway. And Anakin could be a big help to this because he actually visited, together with Ahsoka, the Mortis Gods and Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars Mortis arc. But another role that was featured very prominently in season 1, and I think we're going back to that, is Anakin during the Clone Wars. Anakin as a Force Ghost shooting this many scenes just doesn't make sense because Force Ghosts are essentially used sporadically, as we've seen in the original trilogy with Obi-Wan, as we've seen now with Qui-Gon in the Obi-Wan series. He just appeared in a frame basically at the end and the series wrapped up. So it isn't much as a Force Ghost. I think there's two different versions. This could be very well Anakin as a Force Ghost teaching Ahsoka something, or recollecting Ahsoka a lesson that he taught when he was alive, and then we go back to young Ahsoka and Anakin during the Clone Clone Wars and he is teaching her something. This is basically what happened in season 1, so it would make sense for us to do it again in season 2. This opens up a world of possibilities, by the way. I mean, Captain Rex, Tamora Morrison could come back as Captain Rex during Ahsoka season 2, and why not? I mean, I've been saying for a very long time that we definitely need a Clone Wars live action, at least a limited series. Why can't you do just like the Obi-Wan series, just do a 6-episode thing with live Clone Wars? All of the actors are alive, all of them could come back except for Count Dooku, of course. It would be just, I mean, spectacular. Ian McDiarmid as Chancellor Palpatine in his red office. The nostalgia, just talking about it, would leave me speechless if I ever see that during a live action remake. However, I need to say this also. A Deadline article just a month ago said Hayden Christensen teases return to Star Wars universe in Darth Vader role, because in this interview he said there's a lot of rich stories we could still tell with Darth Vader. So what does this mean?
What do you mean?
Well, let's go to Dave Filoni during this Star Wars celebration. They asked him about Anakin Skywalker. They asked him how he plans to continue the story of Anakin after his 2008 animated series and now in the Ahsoka series. He told him, and I love the respect for George, by the way, just look at how classy Filoni is here. He says, Anakin's story was already told. George did that. I don't have anything to add to that. I don't have to explain anything about it. What George did is what he wanted, and it's perfect. The story I'm telling is about Ahsoka. The reason why Anakin can be in this is because he's relative to her story. But I'm very careful in what I'm doing so that I'm not changing or adjusting anything that George did, meaning of course with Anakin. So if Dave Filoni is saying that I don't want to add or do anything with specifically with Anakin, and he's just going to add to Ahsoka's story in season 2, then beyond the Ahsoka season 2, let's say it wraps up and it's done, I don't know if there's going to be a season 3, but what could Dave Filoni possibly have to do with Hayden Christensen next? Well, Hayden kind of told us that he said there's a lot of more rich stories we could tell with Darth Vader. This is Hayden Christensen saying this, Darth Vader himself. So if Filoni is saying I don't want anything to do with Anakin, I don't want to tell Anakin stories, and if Hayden is saying there's a lot more to tell about Darth Vader, this team up would just be legendary. This is why I am adamant that we need a Year 1 Darth Vader series. The comics of Year 1 Vader from 2017 to the end of 2019 are just spectacular. There are some of the best canon version stories of Darth Vader. It's Year 1, nobody knows him, and he gets ingratiated into the Empire forcefully, and then he builds his castle, and the clashes with Sidious. He learns that he can bring Padme from the dead. He accepts it. It's just beautiful storytelling. 25 issues that could be told in a live action series that you could interpret through the comics. The comics have already been told, but seeing those in live action, could somebody please out there raise their hand who is against this? I don't know anybody who could really say, I don't want a Year 1 Darth Vader series from Dave Filoni and Hayden Christensen, a collab. Why not? You could have also Ewan McGregor come back as flashbacks, of course, because this is too early. Darth Vader never actually found Obi-Wan up until, as we see in the Obi-Wan series. And with Maul Shadow Lord 2, Dave Filoni has been known to go back and tinker with these villains. Because outside of Ahsoka, I see that Dave Filoni has a tendency to revisit villains and kind of see what else can be done with them. It's exciting to see what Hayden can actually do in the Star Wars universe now that he's back. And I think he is back for real. Dave Filoni can actually make a difference. This is why I'm kind of pet peeved and I'm furious with Kathleen Kennedy, because there's literally a fraction within Lucasfilm. Dave Filoni is trying to do anything he can with the stories that he has, with the characters that he has, while Kathleen Kennedy is out there renting Star Wars out to people. Whoever can come in wants to tell their story and use these characters, and we saw what Rian Johnson did. So don't be surprised if you get another Star Wars movie or Star Wars series with, of course, The Acolyte, The Last Jedi. These movies and series are because Kathleen Kennedy went out there, just hired a bunch of people who don't actually like Star Wars. They pretend to like what Star Wars is, but they want to change it because they have a new vision. And we get garbage like The Acolyte and The Last Jedi and so much more. I mean, The Rise of Skywalker takes the cake, of course. We heard it yesterday, folks. George Lucas said it. It doesn't matter how much of a budget you have or what stars are attached to the project. What matters is being artistic, coming from your heart, being emotional about what you create. These people don't really really care about Star Wars. They are egotistical to the point where they try to change, to skew an already made IP. This is what I see. It's Dave Filoni doing stuff with Star Wars, with what he has, what he created with George, and Kathleen Kennedy trying to go against all of what Dave and Jon Favreau are doing. It's a weird situation, but I think that Hayden Christensen is that band-aid that we all need. So I'm so glad that he's filming so much for Ahsoka Season 2, and I'm excited for that next chapter to see what they will do with it. Alright you guys, I'm out. Leave your comments down below. We'll talk to you later.